Kia ora, namaste, sat shri akal, adab, game show, vanakkam, hello and welcome. India Live session, and today we are here for prime time talk with one of the great personality of Christchurch. And when we are talking about this is the right time when we need to discuss and ask these questions to our beautiful personalities who represent New Zealand and make such policies. So I know we are running behind a couple of minutes, and I will take apology. There were some technical issues, we were sorting it out, but I won't take further along. And please invite Honorable Gerry Brownlee Lee. So, Gerry, thank you so much, for giving us your time. And I know it's a Sunday morning and probably will be very busy for a national party.
Well, good morning and thank you very much. It is a busy time because it's right in the throes of the campaign. Just 4 weeks. In 4 weeks' time, we'll know whether we've got a new government or not. In 2 weeks' time, I think the special voting opens.
Yes, and that's the exciting time. And I would like to say that in democracy, this is the right time to understand the voters. This is the biggest power we hold, and regardless which color you're going to give the thumbs up, but at least go and vote for yourself and ask these questions. What is the manifesto, in which we're going to talk about a little bit more about national party today. Being neutral, I think it is the beauty of New Zealand. Gerry, if you may probably agree, we live in such a great, it used to call Garden City, Christchurch, and you are from Garden, local city, and representing spokesman for National Party, for Foreign Affairs, Emergency Departments, Defense. You must have great vast knowledge, and I have few questions if you don't mind. I ask on behalf of our community today. What is the main vision or goal towards community as we are living in multicultural city and multicultural nation? What is national bringing and has a plan for all the communities to welcome in New Zealand?
Well, one of the, I think, guiding principles of the National Party is that we believe in the power of the individual. We believe that individuals make the best choices for themselves, for their families, and for their future. And so our view generally is to have a government that tries to get out of the road of people achieving things. But that doesn't mean that we walk away from the responsibilities that the community requires of us. And that is to ensure that we have safe communities to live in, that we have respectful communities to live in, and that we have arrangements that provide us the best possible healthcare, the best educational opportunities, and generally also fosters an economy that enables people to get ahead in life. And I think that's very important. I think many of the other sort of aspects that cause difficulties for people tend to come when you have an economy that's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. Now, fair enough. If I may ask, Gerry, you bring out really great points. The vision of National Party seems very clear. I had same questions about current situations of New Zealand when we see on the news, every day, especially the challenges we are facing as a nationwide. We used to be very peaceful country in worldwide, and now the story comes. Every day there's another crime rate is increasing, inflation is increasing, living standard of living, which we used to be very peaceful, it's completely changed now. So what are you thinking? What are the main challenges we are facing as a nation, and how we became so worst?
Well, can I just say that our, I suppose, strapline that we're going into this campaign with is get our country back on track. You're right. We are a great country. We've got a lot of things going for us here. But in the last few years, we've seen so many things start to slip back. You mentioned crime. Well, crime is just astronomically bad at the moment, out of control. And you look at what are the reasons for that. Some of it is because we've allowed the law to get too soft. We've allowed there to be very limited consequences for people who do break the law. And we've also, in that environment, you get a fostering of a sort of disrespect for one another. And I think we need to really pull that back. So our view is on the crime issue, we have to give the police more powers, and we're very keen to do that. And we are also making it very clear that when people appear before the courts, that they can expect lengthy sentences, that this whole kind of discounting of what might be a normal sentence for various mitigating factors has to go. It has to be limited, at least our view is to limit that down to 40%, which is, I think, reasonable. But it will see that people do face consequences for their bad activities. The big thing, though, is to make sure that we have the powers, or the police have the powers, to make the apprehensions that are needed to round up these people and get them off the streets. And, you know, a lot of it comes from the growth in the gangs. We've seen a massive increase in gangs. I had the figure in front of me, but it's something like almost 100% increase in gang numbers, but only a 15% increase in police numbers. So you start to see there's an imbalance there right from the start. And we also think that some of the association laws need to be changed, particularly in relation to gangs. The ability for the police to enter premises looking for weapons, etc., without a warrant. We think all of that is quite justified, because you either just keep on saying, oh, look, everything will come right. Everyone's a nice person, don't worry about it, and eventually it'll all go away. Well, it won't. Unfortunately, people who have bad intentions are unlikely to change without very significant persuasion and an understanding that there are consequences for their bad behaviour.
Yes. Yes, because you mentioned the crime rate is getting increase, and if I may remember, so many situations in Christchurch, which is currently also happening. We are not behind, and luckily we're not like Auckland every day, where every second probably will say somebody is planning for something. But when we say about it's as a nation, what is National Party stands for local when we talk about Christchurch plan, and when we talk about as a national, you briefly told us you are focusing on, increasing the defense and making nice, better situation. But on Christchurch level, when we talk, is there any stance plans for the Christchurch as well?
Well, we don't live in some isolated bubble here. We're part of the rest of the country, and while we might have less incidents of ram raids and police chases and everything else, we still have horrific levels of crime. Petty crime, people who perhaps just stealing from your home or from your shop or from wherever because they've got other bad habits that they need to fund. And so all of our proposals around giving police extra powers, etc., and a focus on law and order and a focus on consequence will have an effect on our community as well, for the best. I mean, we're a very good place to live, but you know, we've got to face reality. We had the mosque attacks here in Christchurch. No one would ever have thought in my lifetime that would ever happen, and I think it exposed a whole lot of other aspects of our local community, or a very small element in our local community, who don't quite see the opportunities that others do for such a good life here. And we've got to make them turn themselves around and see that. And if it takes consequence, it means that they go and get locked up. Well, that's the deal.
Yes, because I believe Christchurch has really strong power, which has faced so many things. Talking about the natural calamity, earthquakes, after earthquake, and then the biggest thing which ever nobody have imagined in New Zealand, thinking of attack at most peaceful place of mosque, and we came all together all these times, and I believe community as we growing in Christchurch is very strong. But same situation, if on the other hand, see currently, Gerry, is the well-being. Homicidal incidents are also increasing. If you may know, probably you do know, it's real estate agent is missing from so many months, and it's still not found. So such stories for any community.
Sorry, you've dropped off there for some reason. I'm not sure if I should keep talking or not. I think what you were hinting at was that there are some horrendous crimes that do go on in our city. And it goes back to the point I made before, which we can't isolate ourselves from any of that. And we do need to have as big a focus on reducing crime here as we do in any other part of New Zealand. When it comes to the sort of the missing real estate agent, that is
I'm so
shock.
sorry, Jerry. Yeah, I think there was some technical issue, and we are back. So, as we were discussing about the community issues, there are some things are happening. So, what will be the main focus of National Party of community well-being and control all these pressure which we are facing right now?
Well, I think one of the things that's interesting is if you look at how things are in New Zealand today, people live under a lot of pressure. Whether it's concern about the mortgage rising, the fact that rents in all parts of New Zealand have gone up by about $175 a week in the last 5 years. It doesn't matter what it is, there's pressure in people's lives. And so I think when you boil it down, what is that all about? I think it's because people are feeling financial pressure in the first instance. And we've made it very clear that we want to, that we will put in place tax changes that will see more money in the hands of both individual workers, but also families particularly, to try and help with that. And that signals an approach that we'll be taking over any term of our government, which will be to try and increase the incomes of New Zealanders, at the same time looking for the overall productivity of the country to rise as well. And I think if you can get past this very anxious period we've got at the moment, there's so many things. So it is law and order, it is pressure in the health system, it's failure in the education system, and then of course the fact that we have an economy that is slightly stalling at the moment. We need to pick that up. We need to run with it, because it's from that economy that everything else is affordable. And I think one of the big reasons for that anxiousness in society, for the sort of underlying anger among some people, is largely due to that financial pressure. It's not an answer, believe me, it's not. And when you mentioned the missing real estate agent, I mean, that just shocks our community from one end to the other. It's not the society that we want to live in. And it's what we must turn around. It's one of the reasons and one of the things that we say, let's get the country back on track.
Yes, it's a great campaign. I must say, get our country back on track. But when we talk about as a migrant myself, when I came to New Zealand back in 2012, a great time. And still, I believe this is one of the great nation we are living in, which has some ups and downs, and we need to come as a community back in together. There are some concerns, particularly about the community where I belong, Jerry, is regarding one of the biggest thing is immigration, especially about parents, visitor visa, long-term category visa, or the currently exploitation currently happening between employee and employers. Will be any policies which National Party is thinking about to consider these things as well?
Yes, we have. And Erica Stanford is our immigration spokesman. So while you say you came here in 2012, and I've lived...
I'm so sorry. I think... Sorry, Jerry, we missed a bit of... sorry, there are some technical issues happening. If you can, please repeat that. Probably my listeners can see again.
Yeah, okay. So what I said is Erica Stanford is our immigration spokesman. We do have a strong immigration policy, and it comes in many parts, and I'd encourage anybody who wants to know about it to get onto the website, look up the National Party, and you'll see that it's there. It's quite a significant amount of policy, and I can't go into all of it, but working back a few things, can I say that exploitation of migrants is totally unacceptable in this country. And anybody who's engaged in that is going to get severely dealt with under our government. when it comes to family reunification, we think there is opportunities to have a closer look at how that current policy setting works within the Immigration Department, and recognise too that while you say you've only been here since 2012, and I've been here my entire life, the reality is that the vast majority of this country has arrived post 1840. We're an immigrant nation, and the shape of our nation in the future will be determined by the many cultures who come here alongside our Indigenous Māori culture as well.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Gerry, for your such a great vision, and talking about on Sunday, on your busiest day, for this right time. Last message, if you would like to say anything to our viewers, I will really appreciate that. I'll just any message you would like to pass it.
Well, it's election year, and we're in a campaign, so I have to say, if you want to change the government, if you want to get New Zealand back on track, then please, whenever you go to vote, once early voting starts or on the day, 14th of October, then please, 2 ticks blue, 2 ticks for the name of anybody to form a government. It's the most important of the 2 votes, but we're saying 2 ticks would be great. So if you also want to get involved, then please go onto our website and have a look at how you might be able to do that. I think in a democracy, it relies on people doing things, it relies on people making choices and standing up and saying what they believe. And I think it doesn't mean you win all the time, it just means that you get your voice heard and considered in the way in which the country organises direction. So 2 ticks blue is my final comment.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gerry. And we'll look forward to meeting you somewhere in the campaigning as well. And thank you for being on India Live today. Thanks a lot.
See you later.
See you. So this was a great personality from Christchurch who represent Christchurch, Gerry Brownlee, honorable elected spokesperson for National Party as well. ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ voting ਦੀ ਤੇ please do go and vote yourself. Consider this is the power believes in democracy. ਇਹ consideration ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਾ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੋਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ ਆਪਾਂ. So this is one of the biggest thing I would like to say. Regardless, being neutral as a media person, I believe we should be neutral and discuss each and every matter, talk to each and every party, read their manifestos. This is for our nation, for our better future, for our next generation to see what New Zealand needs to be. So इतना कहते हुए मैनू दो इजाजत ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਹਰਮਨਜੀਤ ਕੌਰ ਰਾਣਾ ਮਿਲਾਂਗੇ ਫਿਰ ਅਗਲੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਲਦ ਹੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਲਾਈਵ ਤੋਂ ਤਦ ਤੱਕ ਰੱਬ ਰੱਖਾ. Thank you so much.